Shalom, Israel. It's your brother Malcolm from Chicago GMS camp. Right, I'd like to start off first and foremost by saying all praises, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Salutations unto the Akim out there that are doing this work in truth and sincerity. All right. And definitely have to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, the heads of Israel on earth today, set up by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And and the rest of the brothers that are doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and freedom to do so. Just wanted to mention real before I even get started how there's a Netflix, yet another movie with a short, snippet of Israelites teaching on the streets. And, we don't know if these guys are going to be going off and saying some bugged out, whacked doctrine like they did in that one with Woody Harrelson and the other one is something about the nines. That movie, the one with the Jewish gangsters with the meat company. That was a movie and also a saying. Beware of gangsters that own slaughterhouses, pig farms. It's a very easy way to get rid of bodies, man. Okay, no trace. All right, so this just showing you the times that we're coming into, that this truth is going out, and that they can't stop this thing, and they're starting to slowly but surely acknowledge it. All right. So without any further ado, the name of this lesson is going to be called "A People Robbed and Spoiled." Disenfranchised people. All right. And Revelation 19:10 said that we should occupy ourselves in prophecy, roughly speaking. So, you got these people that try so hardly to try and discredit the things that we say, but the history, the relics, and the prophecies bear witness to what we're saying is true. All right, because when you really do your research, you're going to find out that everything that we say is absolutely right. You can't get around. You cannot make the sky not blue. You cannot make the sun not yellow. Okay, you cannot make the moon not shine at night, man. And the truth and the evidence that we're bringing forth is as vivid and as pure and as plain as those things, man. So I'm going to read an account in the book of Judith. Okay, and I'm going to start at Judith, the 5th chapter, verse 17. And it says, "Whilst they sinned not before their power, they prospered, because the power that hateth iniquity was with them." Okay, but when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captives into land that was not theirs. And the temple of their power was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by enemies. But now they are returned to their power, and are come up from the places where they were scattered, and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, that they sin against their power, let us consider that this shall be their ruin. Let us go up, and we shall overcome them. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass, but lest their Lord defend them, and their power be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world. Okay? So that reproach, meaning they become that they're going to get basically sorely destroyed, embarrassed, and shut down, and put down low. If Israel would have, if our wicked forefathers would have, the ones that were wicked, which was the majority, would have followed the law, statutes, and commandments, we would have never have fallen from favor and from rulership over all people. Okay, but they didn't. And this man gave Esau the perfect plan on how to destroy us, separate us from our power. And how did he do that? To get us to go against the laws, to get us to sin, and to take the name for us. We couldn't even call upon the name. So they took that. And here's the biblical account of when that was done. This is Psalms 83 and 1. "Keep not thy silence, O power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. The hidden ones are the Israelites, okay? They're hidden in plain sight because they've changed their names. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Yasharallah may be no more in remembrance. But they have consulted with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles, meaning the families of, the houses of, the stead of, the race of Edom. Okay? And the Ishmaelites, Edom being the so-called white man. Ishmaelites are Arabs. And Moab, the Chinese. And the Hagarenes, those were Hagarenes, those are Hagar, sons of Hagar. So those more Ishmaelites. Gabal, okay? I can't quite remember who Gabal is. I think they may be more Edomites too. And Ammon, okay, the Japanese. And Amalek, that's the head of Esau, okay? And the Philistines and the inhabitants of Tyre. And Assur has also joined with them. They are hoping the children of Lot, Selah. All right. So these nations came together to destroy Israel as a people, man. And, you know, through their schools, we just watched, the Friday night class, a good group of the brothers watched Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee, man. And they showed you the programs that they use to tear away and break away the families, strip the culture and the language and the tongue away. And then take the children. That's what they do. They take the youth and they bring the youth up, and the youth have no remembrance of who they are or their own ways, man. That's how you conquer a people, man. And you take their women. You impregnate their women because contrary to popular belief in America, you're not half anything. Whatever seed you are, doesn't matter what you come out looking like. All right? If your father is a so-called white man, you could be the darkest African woman. All right, you could come out as darker, just as dark as your mother or darker. You are still a so-called white man. You are an Edomite. You are the seed of your father, man. Okay? Something that has been since the world began, man. But all of a sudden, you know, over the last couple hundred years or so, they decided to change that. One of the main reasons that is because the Jewish people, they cannot, and the white people in general, cannot trace themselves back to their chosen line through their fathers. And they know that. Because if you start tracing them back through their fathers, you're going to trace them back to Edom. And they don't want, all right? They don't want that to be talked about. So let's talk about some of the things that they set in place. All right? And I wrote down a couple things. All right? The Doctrine of Discovery in 1453. By Pope Nicholas and King Alfonso of Portugal, okay? What they did was they would capture and vanquish the Saracens and subdue them, the Moors. Saracens were Moors. And the enemies of Christ, so they say, which was Cesare Borgia, because they had made Cesare the new image of Christ. And we can get a quick account of that. Let's just read the number one go-to is Maccabees 3:48. And they laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen sought to paint the likeness of their images. So they painted the likeness of their images, and then they put those images up and went throughout Europe, tried to destroy, knock all the noses and lips off a lot of the structures. Same thing they did with the Sphinx over in Egypt. Okay, it has been said that it was one of Napoleon's captains that aimed his cannon at the Sphinx to blast the nose and lips off. But when you look at, you can still see those horrific Hamite features, man. Those wide cheeks and that, you know, it still looks like a Hamite, man. Because the Israelite slaves were the ones who for the most part constructed all that stuff while they're in slavery, and they were constructing the images of Hamites, man. So, you know, and those Hamitic features, all right, and Hamites for the most part, outside of the Cushites, which were Barack Obama's people, the Hamites are, quite frankly, some very unattractive people collectively, man. Matter of fact, that's the case for most of you heathens. There's usually no in between. You're either really attractive or you're just ugly. You know, there's typically not a whole lot of in between when it comes to the heathen. But nevertheless, that's what they did. So they went all throughout Europe destroying the icons, iconoclasm. Okay. see. All right, and then it says, and also the Pope allowed them to be said, and this is supposedly your Christian. This is your new Christianity. All right, and Christianity is against the Bible. It's against the word of the Most High, man. All right, but it says to put them in perpetual slavery. This papal privilege confirmed, the continual enslavement of Africans, Israelites. All right. And there's an account of that, in the historical account of that, written by the scholar Rudolph R. Windsor in Babylon and Timbuktu on page 85. It tells you about how the slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves, which had come, who were refugees from Jerusalem when the Romans sacked Jerusalem, and how they fled. Millions of them fled into Africa. They fled into all different directions, but a huge majority of them fled into Africa, which they lived for quite a few hundreds years, for more than a century, and then they were rounded up and collected to go into slavery. And when that time came, okay. So another device that they used to keep them in a constant oppressive state, right? And you got to think they were doing similar things to the natives and the so-called Hispanics and natives in the Americas as well, man. They were being sold into slavery. They were being transported from Americas back over to Seville, Spain. Seville, Spain became the reverse slave capital of the world. It was like the launching pad where the Northern Kingdom, native Indians and things of that nature were put on auction blocks in Europe and sold to the four corners of the earth from there. So that fits the my infamous scripture. I always say that, Jeremiah 50 and 33, because if you Google it and hit images, guess whose face shows up? All right. Because I taught on that for so long, so hard for so many years, Esau has connected me to that scripture, man. But so that definitely means Esau knows who the hell I am. But that's fine. The Most High knows who they are. Okay. But then you have the Head of Right Act, all right, which was in the 1600s, I do believe, where you got 50 acres of land per head in your household, man. And if you own slaves, you got 50 acres per slave. All right. And then a lot of land was just given away to Edomites, man. All you had to do was pay for your trip over to the America. When you got here, they gave you land, man. So you came over here. So, and that land was passed forward up until now. Hence the reason why they own so much land and have so much land. But then they'll talk about how their foreparents worked so hard and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. No, they didn't. All right. Don't flatter yourself. Right. Then you had the Land Grab Act, okay, which was in the 1800s, I do believe, and they show you that a very good depiction. Esau tells on himself in the movie Far, Far and Away. He shows you how they just, let them run out on horse, buggy, wagon, on foot, however you can. You just had to run out and get your claim, man, and whatever you claimed, that was yours. Okay. Then you had the Indian Removal Act with Thomas Jefferson, the Indian killer. Okay, then after that, the oppression of the Jim Crow laws. Okay, then coming up into the future, you had redlining, which ensured and set up ghettos, which forced Jake to live in bad places, man. All right, which forced them to be renters and not property and landowners, because the Federal Housing Act was only for would only allow Edomites, for the most part, to buy and gain property. And property is wealth. Land is wealth here in America. All right. Then you had religion and education. So they, and with the Negroes, your identity changes every 20, 30 years, man. All right. That's why they had to get rid of the term Negro, because the term Negro can be traced back to Israelite too easily if you start really doing your research. So now they just made you an African American, and they push Africa. If you turn on the TV, on the news, you'll hear African American 1,000 times in one day, man. Okay, which is a lie. Okay, so now let's get some. You know what? Let me flash this book. I'm looking forward to going into it and breaking it down. But the brother gave me this book. This is a $300 book. So what's in this book, they definitely do not want to come out. And it's called If One Dies, Get Another. And it's by Matthew J. Mancini and, the cook and the guy playing the music. And it's showing you Edomites armed, 2/3, who probably is really an Edomite, son of a so-called white man. All right, with the hounds for anybody who escapes. Man with the shotgun, cook, and the man with the music. And these men, this is forced labor, because you remember that Amendment 13, all right, said that there could be no slavery in America except for them who committed a crime. So after slavery, what slave has committed a crime? Being as horrified, terrified, and as docile and as easy as controlled as they were, man. So from 1866 to 1928, man. So literally right after they were freed, if they would say you stole a loaf of bread or a potato, you got put in a prison camp, man. And you were beaten, and they literally worked you to death. And if you died, they just get another. Okay, let's bring out some scriptures, man. Looking forward to going into that book. That's going to make a lot of Edomites mad. And they're going to be all in denial, making their dumb comments on the comment board. All right. And even more so, you scoffers who actually are Israelites. That's the pathetic part. But the Most High going to kill you with a sword of destruction, man. And Yahweh, and I hope he used me to do it. Real talk. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Just straight to it. I'm just going to read these scriptures, man. It said, and Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. And yes, it is literal. All right. You always got an Edomite getting on the comment board saying that it's not literal. No, it was literal. Egypt means house of bondage, slavery, with ships. So this is a group of people that went into slavery on ships. Okay. They got taken into slavery again with ships. Okay. And that wasn't, and guess what? That never happened to Jewish people. That never happened to Caucasian people. All right. Well, for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, they were continually put on slave ships and carted around the world naked with chains around their neck, yokes of iron, and shackles around their hands and wrists. Didn't happen to them because they're not the Israelites. Okay. So this is a prophecy. So yes, it's literal. All right. It says, and by the way, therefore I spake, thou shalt see it no more again. And there they shall be sold, ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no one shall buy you, redeem you, save you. So you're going to be sold as a slave man and a slave woman by your enemies. So the people who put you on those ships and put you in chains were your enemies, man. Okay? Next scripture. Revelation 13, 3 and 4. And I saw the head as it were wounded to death. And his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like this beast, and who shall be able to make war with it? And basically, that was America coming back into power, man. Okay, after that 1,000-year period during the Dark Ages, when after the Southern Kingdom took down Rome and took down the so-called white man and ruled over all Europe, and the relics and the evidence there is there to prove it. All right, you can make your stupid, dumb comments, your useless comments, but the evidence there to prove what I just said is overwhelming. It's overwhelming. There's a mountain of evidence, man. All right, so denial and dumb comments are not going to make it not so. Okay. And then they came back into power when they put up the image, when the heathen painted the image of their likeness. They put up Cesare Borgia. So this right here, old Cesare, they put up his face, and he became the poster boy, the new image of Jesus Christ, which is clearly not the name. All right. Next scripture, Psalms. So we're talking about how they were robbed and spoiled. That's what this is all about. So let's go to the book of Psalms. Tenth chapter, 6 to 11th verse. Psalms 10, 6 to 11. And he said of his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud, and under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. That's like your police. They sit around and catch people up, all right? Because they don't enforce those same laws in so-called white neighborhoods. I keep telling you that, okay? He lieth and waits secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth and waiteth to catch the poor. He catcheth the poor when he draweth him into his net. He croucheth down and has humbled himself. The poor may fall by his strong ones. They fall in the street at the hands of these cops all the time, man. And just civilian white people who have conceal and carry, man. Okay? He hath said in his heart, Yahweh have forgotten. He hideth his face, he would never see it. But nay, the Lord ain't forgot none of this, man. None of this. Okay? Why? Because Esau's blessing was a sword. All right? He likes to think that he got into the position he's in of his own power, but he didn't. The Lord set you up to be the sword, the hammer of the earth. This is Genesis 27:40. And by thy sword thou shalt live, and thou shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion, and thou shalt break his yoke from thy neck. So during the Dark Ages, they broke the yoke, and coming into the Renaissance time, they got dominion again. And then that's what they did, was separated, Israel from their power, and made sure that they would not call on the name, and that they would not call by their biblical names. And they took all that away, man. It was a perfect plan. All right. Almost done here. This turned out to be a little longer than I wanted. But Jake got that short attention span. This is Psalm 73, verses 8 and 9. It says, they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. They set their mouths against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. So their vibration was walking through the earth, man. All right? And they speak wickedly against oppression because they think this is all right. Matter of fact, with Donald Trump, they want to keep this perpetual and make it go back to as bad as it was now, even though they're still doing this with their privatized prisons, man. And the only thing, they said from 1866 to 1928, the only thing that shut this down was the crash. When the crash in 1929 shut this down. And then it took them all those years to get it going again. But in 1964, they got it going again. And it's going strong, okay? Wisdom of Solomon 2:12. Salakia. It says, therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and object to our infamy and transgressions of our education. Yes, we do. We object to everything that you do, because everything that the so-called white man does, the Esau Edom, is against the scriptures, man. Even this wicked holiday, Thanksgiving, is coming up. They're celebrating the killing and the taking of America from the Gadites and the enslavement of Judah as a result of that's what this is all about. And any of you Jakes are celebrating, that's what you're doing. You're just celebrating the destruction of your own people, of your brethren, man. Okay? It's Revelation 12 and 15. And it reads, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood, and after the woman, that it might cause her to be carried away. And Jake was carried away. They carried away into these philosophies, just like I said, worshiping and following after their enemy. All right, obeying and aiding their enemy by taking on certain jobs in this society. All right, let's go to Revelation 18, verses 1 through 4. And after things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, Babylon the great is fallen, is become the habitation of devils. And behold, every foul spirit and every cage of every unclean, hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, her false doctrines. That's what fornication really is. All right. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, meaning they followed these ways. Okay. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through her abundance and delicacies. All right, they've gotten riches deceitfully and unrightfully. And I heard a voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and have not received of her plague." So you got to come out of her ways, man. Turn away from Esau. Come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. Come back to your nationality, even if it means your death, because obviously it does, man. Because when your face gets put all over the internet for reading the scripture, man, yeah. All right, this is Isaiah 47, almost done here. Isaiah 47, 1 through 4. And it's funny because there was a picture circling around of the Statue of Liberty holding on to the leg of Barack Obama. Desperately, like the woman that don't leave me look, that whole thing. All right, because see, the women are so upset because Hillary Clinton didn't get into office, man, because Trump don't play that woman over the man shit. He is not with that. Neither is the Lord with that. But it's clear that he's not with that. And these women foresee that they're going to be knocked down out of their power seat, and they're going to be put back in the place where they. And some of you may take that as a negative statement, but it just is what it is, because the Lord did not set it up where a woman is supposed to be in a position where she's over a man to usurp the authority over man. I just basically roughly paraphrase the scripture. That is going against the Lord's way, against his order of things. But it says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon." And that's what that picture was. She's sitting on the ground, holding his leg, begging him not to leave. All right? "There is no throne, or daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." Why? Because you're going to get penetrated with many penises in the form of ICBM missiles, man. You getting ready to have one of them filthy movies where the woman get gang banged by 50 dudes or whatever. That kind of wickedness. That's what's going to, so many missiles are going to penetrate this place. It's going to be like one of them 500 gangbang flicks, that filthy shit. All right? "Take the millstones and grind meal and uncover thy locks. Make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yeah, the shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. As for our Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts is his name, and the Holy One of Israel." So payback is coming, man. All right, America's going down. You Edomites are going to get destroyed, and your elites are going to be the first fruits of slavery. So let's read some to prove that, and then we're done here. This is Psalms 137, verses 7 and 8, and it reads, "Remember, O Yahweh, the children of Edom," the so-called white man. Okay? "In the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof." And see, this is going back to the beginning now. See how things come full circle? When the Negroes were basically fled mainly into West Africa, man. All right? "O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed." So this is the daughter of Babylon. That's America, man. Because Babylon was already destroyed. Babylon was destroyed already, man. Okay? So it couldn't have been talking about Babylon when this was written. "O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dashes thy little ones against the stones." All right? So your children are going to get bashed against the stones the way Christopher Columbus men was doing to the Northern Kingdom, to the so-called Latinos, all right, and natives of the land. All right, the same way that Cromwell was doing over in England to the Negroes that he was expelling out of there and forcing them to Barbados and Jamaica and that whole sort of thing. All right, so payback is gonna be, a bitch. Sorry. So I'd like to say, all praise, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai and Shalom.